Thank you for joining with me for the meditation for today. Go ahead and sit with your back supported, head and neck free. Close your eyes. Start with a 4x breath in through the nose for a count of 4. Hold it at the top and exhale through the mouth for a count of 8. And repeat that 4 times as I read to you. Go ahead and release all tension from your neck and shoulders. Roll your head a few times while you're breathing. Lesson 70, my salvation comes from me. All temptation is nothing more than some form of the basic temptation not to believe the idea for today. Salvation seems to come from anywhere except from you. So does the source of guilt. You see neither guilt nor salvation as in your own mind and nowhere else. When you realize that all guilt is solely an invention of your mind, you will also realize that guilt and salvation must be in the same place. In understanding this, you are saved. Nothing outside yourself can save you. Nothing outside yourself can give you peace. Nothing outside yourself can hurt you or disturb your peace or upset you in any way. You are in charge of the universe where you belong because of what you are. This is not a role that can be partially accepted. Accepting it is salvation. God would not have put the remedy for the sickness where it cannot help. God has kept the source of healing where the need for healing lies. Today we practice realizing that God's will and ours are really the same in this. God wants us to be healed, and we do not really want to be sick because it makes us unhappy. In accepting the idea for today, we are really in agreement with God. He does not want us to be sick, neither do we. He wants us to be healed, so do we. My salvation comes from me. It cannot come from anywhere else. Review some of the external places where you have looked for salvation in the past, in other people, in possessions, in various situations and events, and in self-concepts that you sought to make real. Recognize that salvation is not there and tell yourself, my salvation cannot come from any of these things. My salvation comes from me and only from me. Now let us try again to reach the light in you, which is where your salvation is. You cannot find it in the clouds that surround the light, and it is in them you have been looking for it. It is not there. Let us go beyond the clouds to the light beyond. Remember that you will have to go through the clouds before you can reach the light. But remember also that you have never found anything in the cloud patterns you imagined that endured or that you wanted. All illusions of salvation have failed you. Surely you do not want to remain in the clouds, looking vainly for idols there, when you could so easily walk on into the light of real salvation. Pass the clouds by, whatever means appeals to you. Think of Jesus holding your hand and leading you. And this is no idle fantasy. My salvation cannot come from anything in the clouds. My salvation comes from me and only me. My salvation comes from me. It cannot come from anywhere else. My salvation comes from me. It cannot come from anywhere else. The purpose of our special relationships is the belief that we can be helped and made happy by something other than God. The purpose of this exercise and meditation today is to review how important this concept has been in our lives and how painful. I can certainly attest to that. It's the pain that impels us finally to make the choice that will bring us true help and happiness. Throughout the day, remind yourself that your salvation comes from you and nothing but your own thoughts can hamper your progress. You are free from all external interference. You are in charge of your salvation. You are in charge of the salvation of the world. Say then, my salvation comes from me. Nothing outside of me can hold me back. Within me is the world's salvation and my own. This lesson closes with the important reminder that we are no longer justified in shifting responsibility for our spiritual impediments from ourselves to external influences. Jesus wants us to remember as often as possible throughout the day that salvation comes only from us. This is bad news to our egos, but the best news for the part of our minds that wants to return home. Nothing in this world, nothing in the world can prevent this return, and since this is what we truly want, we cannot help but to succeed. And so it is. I love you. Thank you so much for joining with me. Remember that your salvation cannot come from anything outside of yourself. Your salvation comes from you and only you. Have a beautiful day. I love you.